Oaxacan green mole. This is going to be the last of our 7 moles of Oaxaca. I made a green mole a couple years ago and I thought I'd made a video of it, but I hadn't. So we're going to do this kind of traditionally. If you happen to be in Puebla, you would call this Molé Pepita for the pumpkin seeds that are used as thickener here. So as you can see, this is a mole that uses just lots and lots of green things. We're going to use 1 poblano and some serranos, a white onion, tomatillos. We're going to serve it on chayote, that's going to be, and also halibut, which we picked up at the docks recently. And then for greenery, traditionally you would use things that are available in Oaxaca, like yerba santa and epazote. And since we don't have these things, a common substitute is cilantro, parsley, even romaine lettuce leaves. But we're gonna chop all this up, and we want a cup packed of greenery to go in with all this other stuff. We have some sesame seeds, some pumpkin seeds. Diane Kennedy, who first introduced Oaxacan food to the rest of the Western world, was very adamant that you'd not make substitutions in Mexican food. And her green mole just had pumpkin seeds, no sesame seeds. That's kind of a later addition. And it just had epazote leaves and herba santa leaves, and then also tomatillos, and the only chilies being fresh green chilies. But over time, and given the necessities of trying to make things where you don't have access to certain ingredients, this is more following a recipe from Rick Bayless, who is another person who has brought the food of Mexico forward into the United States. So I am going to take the seeds and peel off of this by roasting it first. I'm going to husk these tomatillos, peel the garlic, peel the onion, and basically get ready to start assembling this. All right, so I've got everything prepared. It is time to start cooking things. So I have the onion, the tomatillo, and 4 cloves of garlic, all just sliced in half, really, for all this stuff. I'm going to go into a saucepan with half a teaspoon of salt and 2 cups of water. And I'm going to put this on a burner, and I'm going to let this boil. Not a hard boil by any means, but I just want this to cook for about 8 minutes. And once it starts boiling, then I'll set the timer for about 8 minutes. So in the meantime, I have my poblano and my serranos cut up into little pieces. I'm going to tip these into a blender. And then I've also toasted my 1/3 cup of sesame seeds. And not overly toasted, just browned a little bit, and I'm going to tip those in as well. And then the pumpkin seeds, I also toasted those, and I am going to put them in my spice grinder. So I have a half cup of pumpkin seeds that I toasted. I'm going to grind these up. And I just don't think they're going to get ground up fine yet in the blender. There you have that. And that's going to be kind of a thickening agent here. And everything's still looking nice and green. Okay, and then what else? So, well, I do have this is a cup of cilantro and parsley chopped up and then semi-packed in here. This is going to require some kind of liquid in order to blend. And we can also add the spices at this point while we wait for the tomatillos and all. So I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and a whole teaspoon of Mexican oregano, and then, because I can, I'm going to get a little bit of epazote flavor and yerba santa flavor by, I have this dried powdered herb. Actually, the epazote is just dried. I'm going to just put in a 1/2 teaspoon. And the same with the yerba santa. And then this is most of our mole. It will just be waiting for the tomatillos to boil. Now we're kind of, the idea here is that we're going to steam these. We don't want to like roast them because they'll turn a darker color, and we want to keep this vibrant, fresh green color as much as possible. So it's not even boiling yet, and I'm going to boil them for about 8 minutes. So we'll come back. All right, so my stuff is cooked here. What I'm going to do is tip off the water. And save that, because we are going to need some water for this sauce. So we're going to use that. And then I'm going to come over here to the blender. I'll put some of this water in the blender right now, so we can get this to blend a bit. There we go. So that's fine. Now I'm going to add everything in this pot. Probably a little bit at a time. And just blend this all up as smooth as I can get it. So I'm going to keep going, and this is basically our green mole. Once it's all blended up, then we are going to cook it in oil for probably about a half an hour, and before we have our final product. And there we have this beautiful green mole. It smells pretty good. I can smell the roasted pumpkin seed. Okay, so that's tasty now, and it's going to get cooked some more. this is going to be really good. So I took my chayotes, I cut them in half, took the seeds out, although the seeds are soft and you can actually eat them. And then I cut each half into thirds, so I've got like, you know, chayote fingers. I am going to cook these in a 425-degree oven for 50 minutes. After I cut them, I toss them in a bowl with oil and salt and cumin. So this is going to give this a little bit of flavor. And this is just a side to go with our mole. And it's a 425-degree oven, and in it goes. And now, at the same time, I've got some oil heating here. And I'm going to take my blender full of smooth goo, and I'm going to put this on oil, and I'm going to saute it for 7 or 8 minutes, stirring it quite a bit. I want the oil to be hot, and it almost is. Oh boy, that smells really good. It's got the nutty pumpkin seed thing going on. And I, in kind of keeping with the nut flavor here, I used peanut oil. Just in case this starts to spit. Okay, so I'm going to saute this for a little while. There's not really anything more to add to this except maybe salt if it needs it, which we usually don't bother salting extra. And maybe some water if it thickens too much, but right now it looks like it's just perfect. So I'm going to saute it, and then I'm going to turn it down and let it just kind of simmer for 20 minutes. Start? All right, so here are our chayotes. Certainly very nicely cooked. We have this halibut all cooked up. It's just perfect.
We just pan-seared it with some butter and olive oil. Like a couple minutes on the side.
And then we have our green mole. And I think this actually goes right on the fish too. Yes, indeed. That is beautiful. If Kelly wasn't videotaping, I'd have her arrange her own plate. But
yeah, I would have gone like across, but you know, it's funny about that.
this.
Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Okay.
Okay, there we have it.
Now what do you have for your garnish?
Garnish, we have a few more pepitos, and these are I toasted them, right? I think that's important. And then we have a few toasted sesame seeds. Give a little sparkle there. And then we have some
get this first.
Shoot.
Just, that's okay. Just let it rain on there a little bit.
Yep.
Not too much.
A little cilantro. This was actually supposed to go on the chayote as soon as it came out of the oven.
It's okay though.
Just to sprinkle on all of them. Add a little interest.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Yeah. And then we have our blue flowers. Uno, dos, tres, so that it's not an even number. And for something different for this year, this is the first time we've been able to use onion flour on a plating. We have one.
Beautiful.
This is one of my favorite garnishes. Just adds that little, it's like stars. It's like putting stars on your food.
Okay, you want to try a bite?
Okay, so I think the thing to do here is okay, that's really good. You're gonna like this chayote baked like this, roasted.
Okay.
Roasted is what it is. And this sauce, I put 2 serranos in. If it had just been me eating this, I would have put 3. But as it is, it's right on the edge of heat for Kelly. But
Glad you know my heat levels.
it's a totally delicious sauce.
And that halibut is
The
locally caught, beautiful halibut.
It's going to be great.
It seems like a great compliment to that mole.
This mole, you really taste the pepitos. It's so different from any of the moles made with dried chilies. It's just fresh and vibrant, and it's a little spicy. So, thank you for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we will see you next time.